What's going on, YouTube? So it's not every day that you get to stand beside a vehicle that turns heads basically from anyone driving down the road. And what I'm standing next to today is the all-new 2025 BMW M5, but this is not just any M5. This is the new M5 Touring, which is a proper sports car wagon. And I am so excited to be one of the first people in the US to give you a detailed review. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So what better place to start off this review than the beautiful exterior design of this new M5 Touring. So I have to say, here in person, this is one of the prettiest vehicles I've reviewed in the last couple years, and that starts up here in the front. So we're going to have our signature BMW kidney grills. Of course, this is what we've seen on other versions of the 5 Series. It's also going to be nice and illuminated, so you'll even be able to see what this vehicle looks like at nighttime, and you have M5 branding right there. Now, dropping down to the lower diffuser, this is where it starts to get really aggressive for M5 duty. You have, of course, a lot of open area to let all of the air into that big V8 under the hood. And let's go ahead and take a look at our headlights. Now, of course, this is a very premium vehicle, and you will find premium headlights. It's going to be standard full LED, low and high beams. You also have your daytime running lights and fading turn signals going on there, and they're also going to be adaptive. Now, when it comes to your wheels, as you would expect, you're going to have some nice looking ones. We have the contrast design on this particular model. These are going to be a staggered 20 and 21 inch setup. So 20s up here in the front, 21s in the rear. And of course, it's going to be on performance tread as well. Now, looking back at the brake calipers, you do have available carbon ceramics on this model. It's about an $8,500 option, so keep that in mind. As we head to the side here, you'll notice that we actually do have a charge port. More on that a little later in the test drive portion. And then as far as our mirrors are concerned, we do have a black finish as standard equipment. You can also get carbon fiber as well. You're going to have heating, blind spot monitoring, and it's also going to be power folding as well as auto dimming. But at the side, this is where I really start to fall in love with this M5 Touring because, of course, it's a wagon. And I think this just makes the M5 look so much better even than the sedan version, which also looks quite good. It's about 199 inches long for the sedan. I'm not exactly sure how long the Touring will be. Of course, this is a very early review of this model, so some of those specs and details are not available just yet. We have blacked out window surrounds, a blacked out roof, and then let's go ahead and go around to the beautiful booty of this M5 Touring. This thing is absolutely stunning here in person. Of course, it's going to be nice and low to the ground, and we're going to have a spoiler up top, a rear window wiper. And then let's take a look at our taillights. Our taillights are going to be signature BMW 5 Series, so you're going to have full LED for every component in here. And then as we drop down to the lower fascia, this is an M5 after all, so we're going to have a super aggressive lower design, gloss black to all of this, and you're also going to have quad exhaust outlets pumping out an amazing exhaust sound. Now, in typical BMW fashion, you do have all of your available safety systems, and that's going to even include things like an active driving assistant that can change lanes and control the vehicle at speeds of up to 85 miles per hour. But guys, there's a beautiful cabin waiting for you, so let's dive into that before we take it out on a spin. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars. But now let's go ahead and get inside this very special M5. Here is your key fob for the vehicle. It's going to be your typical BMW M key fob. Really nice design to it. Piano black and has nice heft. Of course, you have standard smart entry. You also have remote start. And to unlock the vehicle, You just press the button. I do want to point out this is a prototype vehicle, so keep that in mind. If certain things don't function, of course BMW is going to be working on that when this vehicle goes closer to being on sale. But take a look inside this beautiful interior. Now, of course, we're going to have a beautiful color scheme on this model. As you can see, what we've opted for is kind of this orangey leather throughout the side portion and a black in the center section. It looks absolutely fantastic here in person, especially when paired with this beautiful Isle of Man green on the outside. Now, you are going to have a standard merino leather seat on every single M5. Now, when it comes to your seat adjustments, it's going to be a many ways adjustment, as you would expect, and it's also going to have heating and ventilation. You additionally have two-person memory on the door trim, but let's go ahead and dive inside. And getting inside and shutting up the door, boy, you just feel quite special when you get inside this new M5. But let's go ahead and dive into material quality for this model. So over here on the door trim, we're going to have more of that orangey leather, and it's going to curve around and go through the lower section. All of this is going to be soft touch plastic, and you do have a lot of really cool lighting going on through here that will illuminate different colors as you change the drive modes and as you enter and exit the vehicle. Up on the top of the dashboard, this is going to be a nice soft touch plastic. And then through the center section, this particular model does have it looks like a dark wood trim. It's going to be high gloss. Of course, you have your option between quite a few different other choices. And then we have a nice soft touch panel here on the side of the center console. But let's go ahead and fire it up with the standard push button start. Now, you may notice that it didn't actually fire up the engine. Let that be a little bit of an indication to you as to what is going on with the powertrain department. I do promise there is a V8 under the hood, but let's go ahead and dive into interior details with this M5. So starting out, let's go ahead and take a look at our gauge cluster. Of course, this is going to be your typical BMW gauge cluster. It's a 12.3-inch digital setup. That's standard, of course, and it does have a lot of different customizable information. Now, the thing I'm more impressed with is the head-up display. So if you look up there in the windshield, you'll notice that we have one of the biggest head-up displays that I've ever seen on a vehicle. It has a ton of information on it, which of course is useful for track duty on this model. Now, coming back to the steering wheel, we have a beautiful M steering wheel, really thick rim to it. You have special M stitching through here, your center marker, a leather-covered airbag cover. It's also going to be power, tilt, and telescoping, as well as heated. You have your special M drive modes that you can just easily toggle on while you're driving, and we do have some paddle shifters back here, although they are going to be plastic. I kind of wish they were finished in a metal. Now, when it comes to interior storage, here in the center section, you do have a decent amount of it. Of course, we're on a limited time frame with this vehicle, so we don't have time to get our donuts out, but I'd say it could fit quite a few in there. Up in front of that, you'll find two cup holders as well as a wireless phone charging pad and a little storage cubby. Now, let's take a look at our shifter. Just pull back for drive. If you go up, that'll activate your 360-degree camera system. That, of course, is standard equipment on the M5, and you even have cool things like the 3D spin. Just press the P to go into park, and then more importantly, off to the side, you will notice that there's quite a few different buttons here to change your drive modes for this vehicle. Of course, there's a lot of different drive functions. We'll talk about that more in the test drive portion. And then we have a volume roller for our Bowers & Wilkins audio system. It's going to be a very high-end audio system. We've experienced it in previous or other BMW products. It's quite impressive. Once again, I don't have enough time with this vehicle to pair my phone, so be patient with that. Hopefully we'll have a more detailed review coming to the channel soon. Up in front of that, we have a glass controller for our iDrive system. It has M branding inside as well. And then let's take a look up at our climate controls. We do have a 4-zone automatic climate setup on this model. Climate adjustment is made easily here in the screen, and you do also have buttons for your heated and ventilated seats. I'm happy that they kept the ventilation, even despite the really cool seat design. And this is also going to be one of those BMW models that has the digital fan speed adjustment, as well as this little knob to adjust where the fan is pointing. Now, as far as the screen itself, this is going to be a 14.9-inch display. We've seen this on other BMW models. It's a really high-resolution display. Software runs nicely as well. And we do have some special M information here on the side that's more pertinent for this M5 Touring. Of course, you're going to have standard navigation as well as wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. Now moving on up, we do have a auto-dimming interior mirror, HomeLink garage door openers, and then our headliner is going to be covered in a nice suede. It really makes the cabin feel premium. You'll also notice that this particular model has a fixed panel panoramic moonroof. I am a little disappointed that it doesn't open up, but I'm happy to see that you have this big piece of glass. It does also have a sunshade, which is quite nice because I know a lot of you guys don't want all of the sun heating up the cabin, so I'm happy that they've kept that feature. But let's go ahead and dive into the rear seat. Now we're in the rear seats of this new M5 Touring. Now, as far as the rear area is concerned, it's not going to be too much different from the sedan, so you're overall going to have plenty of space for someone who is 5'9" like myself. This seat is mostly slid all the way back, and I still probably have about 4 or 5 inches of knee room. My feet can slide up underneath of the seat as well. Now, when it comes to the center section, we do have vents here in the center area, as well as our own climate panel. Like I said, you have 4-zone climate on this model, as well as heated back seats. 2 USB-C ports as well. We have a fold-down armrest, and then we also have another USB port integrated into each seat back. So if you look over on the door trim, we're also going to have rear window sunshades, which is quite nice. And the door trim is going to be finished mostly in leather and padded plastic, so it has a really nice look to it. But I'm sure you're really curious as to how much cargo space you're going to find, so let's dive into that. Now let's see how practical it is. So, of course, we do have a hands-free power tailgate. And I have to say, that's probably the best thing about the M5 Touring over the sedan is the fact, not only I think it looks better, but it's also going to be quite a bit more practical as well. So BMW says it's going to be about 17 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. We don't have the official measurement with all the seats folded down, so keep that in mind. But if we do fold those seats down, which I can easily do just by pressing that, they fold 40-20-40 split folding. Actually, I'm also noticing there's handles here on the side. I'd say you're going to be looking at least 50 or more cubic feet of cargo capacity, which is absolutely incredible for a vehicle with this much performance. I love that characteristic. Now, up underneath of the floor, you will find a little bit of additional space. But I think you guys are going to be really curious to see what this is like out on the road. Unfortunately, this is a prototype vehicle, so I am not going to be able to take the M5 Touring out on the road. However, we have driven the all-new M5 sedan, which will behave very similar to this out on the road. So we're going to go ahead and insert that in and enjoy. Well, guys, we are thrilled to be behind the wheel of the all-new BMW M5. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. Of course, we will be getting a hard acceleration first and foremost, and getting our sound level reading. Now, of course, Josh is with me here at BMW Test Fest. If you haven't already said hello to him, say hey in the comments. But we can't wait to go ahead and get started, so let's do it. Woo! Holy crap. All right. That was past 60. Well past 60. Trying not to get arrested here in the new BMW M5. Oh my goodness. Whew. What a brutally quick acceleration in this executive sedan. That's really one of the most amazing things about the M5 is that you get that insane level of M performance, but you also have an executive sedan, really, if you just want to put it in comfort mode, which is really quite incredible. But all right, what do we have under the hood? I talked about this, or hinted about it a little bit earlier in this review. We have a traditional V8 under the hood, so I'm happy to tell you that. You keep the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8. However, for this new M5, we are adding some electrification to the mix. This is actually a plug-in hybrid, so we have a 14.8 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. Altogether, we are making 717 horsepower. Yeah, didn't say that wrong. It's 717 horsepower. That is just an astounding amount. And as you can see, it definitely will push you back in your seat when you press the accelerator.
Oh, yeah.
And even just under light acceleration, you just hear that amazing V8 growl that I'm sure so many of you guys are just very happy that they left alone, because the V8 didn't really need changing, and certainly this is a pretty excellent powertrain.
Now just know that V8 can alert some friends like we have over here in the church parking lot.
Yeah,
of course, he's
indeed.
not coming for us, but he can certainly hear that V8 quite well. So we will accelerate gingerly out of this parking lot. But if we wanted to go full beans, BMW rates the M5 at a 0 to 60 of 3.4 seconds. And even though that first acceleration was going downhill, I think they're underselling themselves just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this M5 could do numbers around 3, if not even under 3, because it is just filled with torque and instantaneous power.
Yeah, of course, electrification has benefits other than just, being able to drive 25 miles on a single charge. It actually boosts your performance quite a lot. So I like that they're using electrification not to replace the V8, but to add to it.
Oh, man.
Wow.
It leaps.
Well, all right, I'm going to try and stop laughing so I can actually discuss some information. We have an 8-speed automatic transmission on board here. Of course, it is beefed up for M duty. This is a lovely transmission. It does a fantastic job of when you just put your foot down, it will shift instantaneously to get you the power when you need it. Of course, it doesn't even necessarily need to drop too many gears because this thing has power in gobs, but definitely a very good transmission. It's also nice and smooth when you're just cruising around in comfort mode to give you that executive-like experience. Of course, you do also have standard all-wheel drive. Now, as far as just kind of cruising down the road here, we will just go ahead and tame the vehicle by putting it into comfort settings for all of the drive modes, and we'll go ahead and get stuff like our sound level reading.
So we have M sound off. We're going to go into our climate controls. Everything is on fan speed 1.
Vented seats are off.
Our seats are off. Lots of controls to navigate here. All right, and the perks of a plug-in hybrid is that we are sitting at 58.2 decibels in this M5, and even though we are here in South Carolina, I still want to go and compare this M5 to all of its competitors at carconfections.com/sound level reading. So of course, it's going to be sitting a little bit on the louder end of the segment, as you would expect. It's going to be sitting up there with things like the Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, but this M5 does have its special advantage.
Yeah, and that special advantage is the fact that we took that sound level reading in pure electric mode. I'd say a lot of this reading itself actually has to do with the road surfacing that we're on here in South Carolina, because BMWs normally test really quietly, and because you can actually flip this into full electric mode, I'd expect it to be just as quiet as really any other version of the 5 Series, which is already a very quiet vehicle. So definitely something to consider there. Also, when it comes to your suspension, now that we're just kind of cruising along here in the city, I want to talk about ride quality. I think that's one of the best things about this M5 is that duality that you have. You can do what we just did out there on the highway portion, and then come here in the city and be in absolute comfort when you toggle, of course, the adaptive dampers and whatever to comfort mode. It really does make it to where you can have an executive level sedan, but also have a track monster if you want to use it as such.
Now, Mason mentioned it earlier with the 25 miles of all-electric range that you can get while the battery is charged on this M5. In general, the system's going to be making about 50 mpge, and the ironic thing about that is when you look at the price tag in the pricing section, you're going to see that the gas guzzler tax is included because at the end of the day, it's still a V8 executive sedan, which is really ironic.
I think it's kind of stupid, honestly. I mean, I'm riding around here in pure electric mode, yet we still get the gas guzzler tax. Don't argue with me, that's a government thing. But
saving all of the trees in EV mode that we just killed during our hard acceleration.
I guess so. But they're going to charge you, I think it's $2,600 as a gas guzzler tax, so be aware of that. All right, now let's get into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, which is our favorite and least favorite element about this new BMW M5. Of course, it's hard to come up with something that is our least favorite element about it, but, you know, we're car reviewers, so that is what we do for a living, is kind of, you know, critique little things. But what's our airball, Josh?
So our airball for this new generation of M5 is going to be a little bit of the lack of visceral nature that you would get out of previous generations of the M5. We have some close friends back at home that have a V10 E60 M5, and you're just going to truly feel the raw performance from that in every corner.
Yeah, this vehicle is obviously a lot heavier than previous generations of M5, and it's not saying that the performance is not impressive, but it definitely does feel a little bit heavier than other versions before. So if you're looking for that executive experience, you're going to really like that here in the new M5. But if you're also looking for a little bit of a more performance, visceral feel, you might miss that from previous M5s. Now, as far as last things, your warranty is going to be BMW's Signature Setup, which is a 4-year 50 basic and powertrain warranty. Additionally, you are going to get 3 years of complimentary maintenance, which is nice for a luxury brand. Now, as far as pricing information for the M5 Touring, I'll put that on the screen right here. The sedan does start at around $120,000, and with all the options, tends to go about $145,000. Now, if you're looking to buy a BMW M5 Touring or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a car is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's talk about resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, we took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for BMW's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 41.19%, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 15.3%. Now, it's worth noting that is below industry average for all vehicle makes. However, it is very much similar to other German luxury manufacturers such as Audi, Mercedes-Benz.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by creating the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account a lot of data taken from trusted automotive resources. According to this metric, BMW is on par with the industry average.
It's worth noting that's also better than the other German luxury brands. Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale and reliability data, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth first review of this all-new BMW M5 Touring. If you enjoyed watching this video, or found it helpful in your purchasing decision, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy one of these, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel with reviews like this. I promise you won't want to miss out. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.